Mining is extracting ore or minerals from the ground. An ore is a natural material with a high concentration of economically valuable minerals, and miners dig up and process ore to be sold for a profit. Some of the more widely known and mined minerals range from precious metals like gold and other metals like copper and nickel, which are widely used for construction and manufacturing. People have been mining or removing useful and valuable materials from the earth for thousands of years, and mining takes place all over the world. The minerals found by mining are used for the manufacture of thousands of goods we use every day. These include metals for the manufacture of machines such as engines. Minerals are used in finer manufacturing too, such as electronics for things like mobile phones. But not everywhere is suitable for mining. For a mine to work, there needs to be enough of a mineral present to justify or pay back the high costs involved with digging it up. The mining process usually begins with prospecting. The prospector's job is to search for and test how much minerals are present in the ground. Prospectors will usually take samples and do tests to find how much and what minerals are present. The results determine if there are enough minerals at that site to justify the large costs of digging them up. There are different types of mines. There is surface mining. An example of surface mining are open-cut mines. Open-cut mines dig deep into the earth, creating a huge hole. From there, the minerals are removed. Gold and copper are often mined using this method, and Gold Ridge Mine on Guadalcanal is an example of an open-cut mine. Strip mining, as the name describes, strips or removes the earth's top layers to gather the minerals close to the surface. Nickel and bauxite are commonly mined using this method, and strip mining is the type of mining proposed on Isabel, Choiseul, Wagina and Rennell Islands. And there is alluvial mining. Alluvial mining is extracting metals, often gold, from sediments, sands or gravels that are in rivers. Often, alluvial mining is done by individuals or small groups. Another widely used style of mining is called underground mining. As the name suggests, the miners work underground, tunneling into the earth, searching for and removing the minerals. The deepest underground mines are in South Africa and reach nearly 4 kilometers into the earth. A new frontier or development in mining is deep sea mining. These pictures are taken thousands of meters beneath the ocean surface on the sea floor. These are hydrothermal vents or black smokers, though that is not black smoke that comes out of them, but hot water mixed with sediments. These vents are found around underwater volcanoes, and they are rich in valuable minerals like gold, silver, copper and lead. Deep-sea miners are exploring ways of retrieving those minerals from deep under the ocean. To do that, special underwater machinery is lowered to the sea floor where it scoops up the earth. That mix of rocks and water is pumped up to the surface to a support or processing ship. This is a new type of mining, but as technology is developed and prices of minerals increase, deep-sea mining is becoming a reality. The first deep-sea mine will likely be in Papua New Guinea, and some areas of Solomon Islands are being explored by deep-sea mining companies. Mining begins with removing the raw materials, the rock and the earth. In small alluvial mining, this can be done by hand with few tools. Many mines, though, are huge operations that use some of the biggest machinery that has ever been built. After the earth has been dug up, it is transported for export or sent to a processing plant. A processing plant removes the unwanted rock and earth and separates the valuable ore and minerals from the waste. If the mine builds a processing plant on site, this can provide further local business and employment opportunities. The separated valuable ore and minerals are kept and sent to a port for transport out of the country and sale overseas. Because mines need to remove huge amounts of earth in order to find the minerals they are looking for, they produce huge amounts of waste. That waste is called tailings. What to do with or how to dispose of those tailings or waste is one of the most difficult environmental challenges with mining. Some of the methods used to manage mine waste are: riverine disposal is a crude method where the tailings or waste are pushed or dumped into the nearby river systems. Two examples of riverine disposal near the Solomon Islands are Oktedi in Papua New Guinea and Panguna in Bougainville. Waste from the Oktedi mine in PNG's highlands is pushed into the rivers and has reputedly caused the massive Fly River to fill up with earth and other sediments and now regularly spill over its banks and flood, causing great difficulty for the people living along the river. Likewise, with Bougainville's Panguna mine, the pile of waste rock is so big it is like a mountain and has changed the Jaba River and the livelihoods for the people that live there. Because of the environmental damage caused by riverine disposal, it is no longer acceptable in most parts of the world, and responsible miners use other methods of managing the tailings waste. To help control the discharge of sediments into river systems, some miners use a tailings dam. For example, Gold Ridge has a tailings dam. The purpose of the dam is to slow the flow of water so that the heavy rock and earth fall to the bottom, and the water is held or reused in the processing plant. A danger with tailings dams is if they are not constructed and managed properly, they can fail and let the waste and pollutants into the rivers. A waste disposal method used by some mines sited close to a coast is to pipe the tailings into the deep sea After the miners have exhausted or used up the ore and minerals, they leave the site. To repair the environmental damage created by the mine, responsible and quality mining companies follow up with a rehabilitation program to help speed up the recovery of the environment. Miners have an obligation, either enforced by law in the country they are mining in or by international pressure, to properly manage the mine's waste and to clean up and rehabilitate the environment after mining. Mining can also bring change to the lifestyle of the people living in and around the mine sites. Some of those social impacts are things like a rapid rise in population, drugs and alcohol issues, and disputes over land and money from the development. An example of social impact very close to the Solomon Islands is Bougainville, where the dispute over sharing mining wealth triggered a war that killed 15 to 20,000 Bougainvillians. Because mining moves so much earth, it has a great impact on the surrounding environment. Perhaps the greatest environmental challenge is the disposal of the mine's waste. In some mining processing, such as gold mining, chemicals are used, and those chemicals remain in the waste and can find their way into the rivers and streams if not managed correctly. Some rocks naturally contain dangerous chemicals, and after the earth has been opened up and the rock broken, those chemicals leach into the environment. Because the Solomons are a nation of small islands, large-scale digging and land moving can also impact the nearby marine environment. Understanding and managing those environmental and social impacts is something communities must consider very carefully and work with the miner to manage. Mining is a huge business. If well planned and managed, mining can bring large-scale development opportunities and benefits to a region. Those benefits can include things such as health. Mines can boost health services with facilities such as clinics and hospitals. Another possible development is in education, by providing and supporting services such as schools, scholarships, and also trade and vocational training. Infrastructure, with development in areas such as housing, roads, and improved communication facilities. Mining presents business opportunities such as providing services to the mine and other flow-on businesses from the economy generated by the mining developments. Plus employment opportunities working for the miner and the support businesses. And money generated by royalty payments. How much and what kind of benefits that mining can provide are determined by the agreement that the government and landowners negotiate with the miner. But not all mines and mining companies are the same. Some miners are less concerned with honesty and community relations than other better quality and more honest mining companies. Also, if the government and landowners are not honest and transparent, then it will be difficult for an honest and transparent company to work there, and that place might be filled instead with a mining company more concerned with making quick profit and with little regard for environmental damage or community benefits. A community and other stakeholders should make the effort to investigate the history of a mining company that is considering prospecting or mining on their land, and consider the past conduct of that company in other places they have mined. Mining is already a part of our lives, and many of the goods and tools that we use every day are made from materials produced from mines. Further, mining is one of the largest contributors to the world's economy. But because mining is such a huge endeavor, its impacts, whether good or bad, are also huge. The future and success of mining in the Solomon Islands is in our hands. It is the decisions that we make and how prepared we are to be wise, honest, transparent, and to carefully plan that will determine mining's success or failure.
The value of real estate in Kenya has over the last 2 years grown to more than 50 billion shillings. At the base of this success is the stone quarrying business.
Stones are just one of the many ingredients that are used in construction. And what I would actually say is, of course, the more housing that is being done, the more buildings that are coming up, the more the consumption of stone. I would also want to let you know that we are actually very blessed in this part of the world to actually have stone quarries. And many people, when they do visit Kenya, they actually marvel when they see our houses because they look at the lovely look of stone.
Stone mining is a booming business in Juja, a town in the central province of Kenya which is home to over 200 stone mines. The stone produced here is used in the development and maintenance of housing and infrastructure in Nairobi and its environs.
It's good business and there's less hassle because these are products that's required everywhere. Yeah, the construction industry is growing and I think everyone wants to build, so it's like you're selling something that's already bought.
The production of stone begins with identifying a piece of land with bedrock made of granite stones which are formed as a result of volcanic eruption.
You do this by first going to maybe like idle land, and you go like say 6 feet, 10 feet, you dig a small hole, and once you discover the stone, you take the machines at the quarry. You first remove the topsoil. That's called the topsoil is mixed up with stones. The stones are called beams. They are not fully developed stones, but as you go down maybe like 3 or 4 levels, you meet the stones, what is used in the building process. And you have like there's beam, there's reject, and there's grade 1 stones.
Due to its bulky nature, stone products are only consumed within the proximity of its manufacturer, as the cost of transportation outweighs the value of the commodity. This interferes with pricing due to excessive supply within a concentrated area.
Because there are quite a number of quarries here, around 50 I think. This now brings competition, because when you sell at a higher price than the rest, you benefit, they will get more lorries than you. Also, pricing becomes also a challenge, because you have to track, to know what the other people are selling.
The cost of a block of stone ranges between 15 and 25 shillings, and the transaction process involves a series of traders and brokers.
We send our sales guys, and we also have another department for brokers. You have one broker at the site. Basically what the broker does is he gets drivers, and he also knows some of the sites that require stones. So it's like selling for sales in the corporate sector, but them they know more. They know more sites.
Technology is a fundamental aspect of the progress of any industry. As for stone quarrying, moving away from the traditional chiseling of stone to the now use of the Pavoni stone cutting machine has seen a tremendous increase in profits.
First, the usage of cement is low. Also, there is no smoothing. Those people, the ordinary stones are always smoothened with a chisel, which is quite a cumbersome way of doing smoothing compared to this one, because this one comes as a smooth stone.
And this increase in production is in tandem with the current development Kenya is undergoing, where the devolution of county government depicts the potential this industry holds.
One thing that you can always say, you make hay while the sun shines. So as our country is doing well, and we're going to be doing well in the construction industry for some time, because apart from the boom that we have just enjoyed right now with the growth in the economy, remember with our new government that is coming in terms of the new constitution, we are going to have county governments and senates. The demand for construction is going to increase. We need governors' houses, we need senator houses, we need county councils, and so those who have the material right now on their site, they're going to make money from it.
This business, however, has adverse effects on the environment in terms of large amounts of waste and the lack of rehabilitation of quarries after use.
One thing you have to know about stone is that it is as good as a mineral which you are mining, so it is exhaustible. So the more construction we do, the more we are getting the raw materials from the stone quarries, the more we have to think about what happens when the stone quarries run dry. But remember, it is an exhaustible resource. And one of the most dangerous things normally is after somebody has enjoyed the fruits of their site through the mining of the stone, it's one of the places that becomes dangerous, because where you have removed the stone and when you have rainfall, you have water accumulations, you have dams there. So we have to really think about the sustainability of what we can do with quarries once we have exhausted the stone that has been mined from it for construction.
As the building and construction boom continues in the country, the challenge to the stakeholders in this sector is to find ways in which productivity can be increased and at the same time reduce environmental degradation. For Eye on Kenya, I'm Caroline Kiambo.
This was the situation here. Bonotwich village residents in the Wendo constituency took to the streets demanding the closure of a Chinese ballast company to save their farmlands and homes from more damage, which they say have been caused by powerful explosives that have left their walls cracked. They lit a bonfire at the gate of the company.
So when the blasting is being done, the stone erupts from those places and they get thrown very far, and some gets into some houses.
We are sleeping in water. If you go down there, homes which are surrounding here, they are waterlogged. People are crying because of this company. There is a quarry up there which they start digging some years back, but now it is waterlogged. And they make a drainage, which is just a short drainage up there. Then they left it somewhere up. If you come down here, there is no any drainage. So that water is penetrating.
Kwa sababu mtoto mdogo hautamkataza kila wakati asicheze nje, lakini pindi anapoenda kucheza na ile maji chafu anapata maradhi katika mwili wake. Na maneno haya hata wakiambiwa hawachukulia tu yoyote.
Hii ni mawe kutoka China Chico company.
In the village, houses have their roofs torn apart and windows shattered. According to locals, some of the stone blasted at the quarry have landed in the people's houses, damaging household items. Evans Odhiambo lives in fears. He's not sure how long his house will stand with the huge cracks on the wall.
Kama wanapiga baruti ndiye imefanya hii nyumba iwe na mena hii. Hii iko na cracks paka ndani, ukiangalia ndani hii inaenda kuanguka. Hii nyumba kubwa hii hakuna mahali naweza enda. Angalia hivi. Hii sasa ndio jikoni. Hii ni maji kutoka China, maji iko hapa. Hii ni maji. Kila nenda onoka.
According to George Otieno, his farm that used to be fertile, producing good yield, is now full of ballast stones.
Sasa samba ilikuwa mbaya sana. Atoki hata mahindi vizuri kwa hii kokoto na maji.
Ukiangalia samba iko mawe. Kisema imejaa na oil na kila kitu takataka kutoka hapa China. Juu naomba serikali ya Migori County akuje wasaidie.
Well, after touring the whole village witnessing the extent of the damage caused by Chico Chinese ballast company, we decided to seek for some clarification from the body concerned. But what devastated us most, on our arrival, we were chased away by the Chinese in charge, saying that they have wronged nobody, despite the danger they have exposed the locals here to.
Don't touch me.
Get out. Get out from over here right now. Get out.
Don't touch me.
Get out. Get out.
Chief hata ukienda chief anasema wacha tu hilo tutatengeneza. Nimeenda mpaka police station, niko na OB number sahi karibu 3. Hakuna kitu polisi anaweza saidia. Ukitoka polisi anakuja. Akisema na China amemaliza tu. Kesoe ukienda hakuna story. Unasema tu weenda.
We also have some other complaints from the members of the public, and we have foreseen. We have gone around the houses, have had problems. We have seen the drainage system is very poor. It has been overworked.
The residents now want the company to compensate them for the damage.
They are blasting, they don't care. The big stones which are going to the other shamba, the other area, they are not taking care of. So there is no any compensation they are doing within this area.
Bernard Ojo.
Mining is one of the most destructive practices on Earth. Around the world, mining is threatening people's homes and destroying ecosystems. This video will help you know what to expect and decide what to do if mining is being considered on or near your land. You'll hear stories, warnings, and advice from other communities. There are people around the world facing the same challenges, and the lessons they learned may be useful to you. If you know your rights, you have a better chance of protecting them. Peru, South America.
Años anteriores era un paisaje muy maravilloso. Había bastante agricultura, había la ganadería, bastante agua, la gente sana. Pero hoy en día ya ha cambiado totalmente a lo malo. Todos estamos con unas enfermedades, unas epidemias.
Peru is home to some of the world's largest gold mining companies. Newmont mining arrived more than 20 years ago, causing many serious problems, especially with water.
Ellos utilizan millones de metros cúbicos de agua. Por eso que hoy en día ya no tenemos la agricultura, ya no podemos criar muchos animales.
Utilizan cianuro. Es el elemento que va a tener que sacar todo el mineral. Si han drenado o han botado, diríamos, sus desperdicios o sus relaves a los ríos. Y esos son los que han causado la muerte de los animales.
Esta empresa minera fue causante del derrame de mercurio en una comunidad. 1.200 personas infectadas por mercurio, varias personas han fallecido por este caso.
Porque ahorita tantísimas enfermedades, la moda que está el cáncer, en las mujeres, en los niños, en todo. Toda esta mina que vino, hay corrupción, hay ladronería, hay prostitución, hay todo lo que ha aparecido. Ahorita ya no tenemos confianza, tenemos miedo.
Yanacocha es una de las empresas más importantes de producción de oro en el mundo, pero sin embargo, cuando ellos entraron, nuestra región era como el cuarto departamento más pobre del Perú. Y ahora, después de 23 años de minería, hemos pasado a la primera región más pobre del Perú.
Democratic Republic of Congo, Africa.
Na wakati walienda wanachimba zile madini zao, zile maji zikaenda zinakauka. Probleme sasa makati za kipwa, watu wanaanza pigania maji. Unakutana unatuma mtoto atarudia tu, banaanza gombana pale hata watu wazima.
Environment iliharibika, mashamba za watu walikamata na banatosha mamiti na mabulongo inashuka, habatapanda tena miti kwa kukinga tena mazingira.
Apre sasa kuona ile minere bakakuya kuchimba mosite 3, kisha penda kubomola nyumba yangu yenye ilikuwa pembeni ya yenye nilikuwa nafanyizia kazi ya restaurant. Apre tubakanifukuza tena kukazi kwenye nilikuwa natumika momai ya mine artisanal. Ile makazi yote bakaibeba, me par rapport na vile nikabeba franga, me sikupenda kutoka sababu mimi naona kiba nanipatia zo tu par force. Ndio maana walinifungaka.
Entire villages were displaced to make way for the massive mine.
Buranzi nalamagaha na mihombo. Lamagaha na mihombo. Wahali ahamwiru. Badiro kunanga muyimuke. Bajiri hano arali kuhinga. Arali kandu rwakala koshi ndako. Arali ishwa arali bindi ai hali kyambwe ni bagahinga. Mundu balengeze yeshi bo muhiya kazi. Chigui kandi anda mundu ogweri akazi. Kulamirentio. Tukwala rwaja yera bwera naru akajiro kundi ntabyo twala mirenti yakonoko abanji bali mwizi nyumba zali hano bagenzire bayasirishali.
magonjwa yenye ikokuwa mbele iko inaonekana kwa leo hapa, kama upele, ugonjwa wa tumbo, kutapika, kuhara, malaria na ugonjwa wa vifua na kadhalika.
Liachirana bwine naba izi emiliranzi yagerero ku myezi 3 irina nakabayirwa nehewa byashikabona nkabyo biri byamvuruga omumubiri mbweririye emyezi 3 ligera eri emyezi 8 nalyo lyagera byo nalinda naikachiro ko bitali najiberwa renga mu mwana ofiri.
Zimbabwe, Africa. In Zimbabwe, many families struggle to survive after being relocated for mining.
Muno mutiri kushupike zvisikatomboiti. Hatichinaini zvangu zvakapere kufa, zvizhinji zvevanhu zvapere kufa. Hapana kurarama kuongaita pasina mari. Saka zviro zvokuti haufari. Saka tiri kushupika nemvura yacho hatina. Ukasaibhata vazhinji hachina mvura muno ngekuti mari dzacho havana. Vakutomwa muzvirwizi zviri umu, madhaka ari kumwe achitochema kuti kudzoka kuri nani.
The community used it to fetch water everywhere, and there was diarrhea, typhoid. 36 died because of that waterborne disease. We went to DA and reported that issue, but they don't pay attention.
Ndingati matambudziko etiri kusangana nawo isusu semadzimai kana adatranzawo. Matambudziko anotinetsei kunyanya enzara nemhuri kutochengete mhuri dzacho.
Communities around the world want to help you be prepared to defend your rights in the face of mining.
Zvese akatanga kusimuka ndichita matauriro ari kuita icho pani. Nangwisa hakuna chinhu. Zvine micheni yedu yakapera kubhomoka zvisikufa zvisikamboiti. Anochitanga ambotipa ngoti angwara.
We haven't got any economic benefit from mining. We thought maybe it was going to be a blessing, but a curse.
Es por eso que acá nuestros hermanos de Zelendina decimos lo que nos ha pasado a nosotros, que no les pase a ustedes ya.
Halapak was initially a quarry rehabilitated by Bamburi Cement Company, who used the place for cement production. They almost break the seabed, and thus the need to transform the quarry into an ecological area in 1971. Halapak holds a variety of plant and animal species which serve as a recreational spot for tourists and locals. Each animal has a history of how they came by. This is according to Karima Nyinge, who is the ecotourism manager.
We don't just go out and pick animals. Each and every single animals who lives here today, or for those who found their own way in here, there's always a very good story behind them. There are those who have been brought in because where they were, in one way or another, they were suffering.
One of these animals are the giant land tortoise, whose origin is Seychelles. The park is home to about 12 of them.
Their home origin is in Aldabra. This is within the Seychelles Islands. And how they came to this place that now, at one time, when humans started traveling around the world, they saw it very economic to carry tortoises on board, as opposed to carrying livestock or chicken plus food, yeah? Whereby any time they will need fresh meat, they will kill a tortoise and have tortoise soup, yeah? But as time went by, thereafter it was realized at the origin, population was diminishing. So there was a need to protect, yeah? Now when this law came into practice... merchants. Yeah, those were merchants, yeah. So when a law came into practice, that was stopped, and then lucky enough, the ones who were already in the ship were thrown out.
The tortoises are vegetarians, with the oldest being around 160 years old.
We are hosting 12 in number, and the oldest currently is around 160 years old. And our scientific research revealed they can live about 200 years. Yeah, they are not actually a big problem to anybody. The only thing we don't allow people is actually maybe to feed them, because at times when you tend to feed them too close, they can actually possibly not actually snatch off your finger, but they can actually give a bite and rip off your skin. Yeah.
After almost 2 hours of a trail inside this park, one has to come here as the last spot to watch over the crocodiles. And what an exciting experience. Tobias Chanji, KTN News.
Responsible mining is never compromised by mining companies across the world. Mining companies derive huge benefits from mining responsibly, giving communities and countries relief that mining is not destructive as perceived by most people.
Mining is seen or perceived to be a destructive operation. But if you have the opportunity to drive around, you'll see that after mining, we rehabilitate the land, try to restore it to its original use. We also do demonstrational farms around.
We have a cliche at the chamber which says mining must be responsible. The reason for this is that mining is long-term, is capital intensive, and has implications for current and future generations and the environment. It's therefore important that mining companies operate responsibly.
Irresponsible mining comes at a cost to both the mining company, community, and the country at large. Mining companies adhere to international best practices. Mining companies have undertaken many projects that correct environmental problems associated with mining.
Saa adwuma no anyi yi na egu yi no na yɛ no sɛ ɔmpɛ sɛ awifo bɛba kuro yi ha nti yɛn adwuma wɔ ha no obiara no bi na ɔmfa mmɔ ne yere akɔhoma kyerɛ ɔmfa nidi nti egu so yɛyɛ saa adwuma no na mansefo baa saa asase so bɛgye sɛ ɔmo bɛyɛ afuo no ɔfa wɔkɛsi guma a wɔntumi nyɛ no saa dɔ na wɔntumi no a wɔkɛsi ne bɛdɔ ama ne yɛate afiri wuska no mu sɛ pruni na wɔntumi nyɛ a yɛwɔ pruni ɛsɔ hɔ a ɔmapuru no ama wo ɔnso ne yɛate afiri wɔabɛsika wobɛnya for the month no mu na wɔsɛ deɛ atua wɔkɛsi ne ka nti all sectors nyinaa yɛwɔ wɔkɛsi hɔ.
Ɛmmoa aboa ma busua aboa bebree aboa ma menye bi de ese me fie me tim ebi na bosome so a me maame bi metimi de ye ne ma bebree me de tua school fees me save bi nso wo bank ne nyina fie adwuma yi
on sky boy nya na ha no ebi a ne manse fo kra om so ye manse no ebi a etimi nya bi mbo chan wo.
Newmont Achim Mines has a unique story.
We have a life of mine operating plan, and then with the life of mine operating plan, with the collaboration with the mining engineers, to start with, we've designed the reclamation and integrated it into the mine engineering. For example, this is the engineering, and as you can see from behind, we have different stages of how we abandon mine or how we are doing the reclamation or decommission. That matured area we started in May 2015, and that is the stage that we have now. And then behind there, you can see a fresh area that is being reclaimed. And then this started this year.
At Ghana Manganese Company and Chirano Gold Mines, massive reclaimed lands have been turned into man-made giant forests.
We have about 20-hectare oil palm plantation, which is doing very well, which was a rehabilitation of a waste dam that is running successfully. Most of the time people think when the land is disturbed for mining activities, that's the end. But we also demonstrate this to prove that after the life of the mine, the land is still usable. The community around can also make use, they can continue with their farming life, they can continue with the various activities that were going on before the mine was established.
We have a strong policy of reclamation where we've gone beyond even compliance in reclamation criteria. We're looking at, like I said, we want to leave a sustainable development project in Chirano, where perhaps maybe Chirano may be seen as a ecological set piece and becomes a shining example for Africa. It looks good for now, and in terms of practicalizing it, if you see around, you see areas that have been rehabilitated. Currently, a tailings dam that has been decommissioned is under rehabilitation.
These reforested lands are contributing to the regeneration of green covers and at the same time empowering.
In the early 80s, we had an area of grassland which was in the centre of the quarry. We painstakingly picked that up, bucket by bucket, and retransplanted it over in the far side of the quarry, which is not going to be used.
This threatened natural habitat was moved 800 metres from its original site. Rare grasses, orchids including the dark red helleborine, and the brown argus butterfly were all preserved. Since 2002, funds raised via the aggregates levy have been used for similar projects to improve the environment near quarry sites. The levy itself was introduced to encourage recycling and use of waste materials instead of virgin aggregate. Many quarries, including Thrislington, now run an on-site recycling plant.
We fetch the materials in for recycling from house buildings, demolitions, road planings, any work that's going on around the area. It's trying to save the natural resource that we have in the land.
Various measures, including the aggregates levy, are encouraging recycling in the industry, and at the same time, the market for recycled material is growing. But large or small, all quarries need to secure enough virgin resources to extend the lifetime of the operation.
The most pressing concern is the long-term viability of quarries and the long-term reserves of rock that we have available to enable us to continue the operation in the quarries. There are two ways that this can be tackled. One is to gain as much planning permission as possible and to gain as much land as possible to ensure the future, but also there are ways to minimise the amount of rock that we are extracting from existing reserves.
In the modern world, quarries are not simply a matter of extracting and processing material. They must also consider their impact on their surroundings. And finally, after quarry operations cease, they must find another use for the site, or, like these reclaimed fields, return the land to nature.